So, as I think all of you know, that India has lost the match today. It was quite against our uh, game scenario and game plan, the way India played. And but so in this post-match analysis, what we'll do is we'll try to find what went wrong in today's match. We'll look at it from the data perspective, and we'll also see can India bounce back, because India has a next match against Argentina tomorrow. So India doesn't have a lot of time to prepare and bounce back, right? So what went wrong? So let's say the facts first, right? India has lost the match. India has fallen 1-3 to Belgium. India was 1-1 till halftime. So it was the match was evenly poised at halftime. In the first quarter, there were opportunities created. Then the momentum shifted, right? Then India saw two green cards when India had team of 10 for 4 minutes, and that created more pressure on Indian team. There was Q3 penalty corner pressure coming in, and then when India had to change their game plan and attack, we were just not there. We were just not there to respond to Belgium attack. So what we'll do is we'll do this post-match analysis a bit uh, comprehensive, a bit analytic, and then we'll try to see what we can do better tomorrow, right? As India, and then as against Argentina, and what challenges Argentina will throw for us, right? So what we'll do today, what went wrong? So in the first half, India started in a very structured manner. Belgium had planned their high press. So, and in the green card, you assume India anyway had one less player. So we had Belgium almost playing in their Indian half, and then we had ball passing here, we had another here, we had denier here, we had Wiggins here, we had a lot of a lot portion of the first quarter and the second quarter, the entire first half, they were was played in the Indian half, and it showed the kind of pressure that was being created. And there were few opportunities, there were few penalty corners, there were few missed goal scoring opportunities from Belgium. Had they been taken up and had they been converted, India would be looking at a much worse score than 1-3. 1-3, and any day 1-3 is very poor performance from India's standards. But this was something that absolutely didn't work, right? So what went wrong? So we talked about green card period. We saw there were tactical reshuffle happening. The players who were coming in as substitutes. With the moment we had Belgium and Indian game happening in India's half, we had very few passers who were able to cut through this Belgium defense and go ahead. Right, there were very few players. So that's the first problem. So whenever there were attacks, India was busy defending penalty corners and uh, foot sticks, but there were not much players coming back to attack in the first half. So the key point here is we had 10 players, so we were numerically disadvantaged. We just managed to survive the first half. That's all happened in the first half. Then comes the third quarter. In the third quarter, there was an early penalty corner for Belgium. So in the third quarter, we would have, um, let's reset this match, right? So in the third quarter here, of course, India switched side and started playing here, but just for the sake of analysis, I'm just showing it in the same chart. So we had early penalty corner for Belgium, and this penalty corner increased their press intensity. India's midfield did not India's midfield did not let us down, but they did not create opportunities for our forwards. India's midfield and defense always converges to one. They get sandwiched and they become one piece. Playing 4-3-3, the moment you have defense and midfield coming together, then attackers just do not have any opportunities. And I was appalled to see I was appalled to see the passes happening. I was appalled to see air passes happening, and the ball being passed without any on ground passing. Right, this was the biggest surprise for us, that whenever the ball whenever Indian team tried to pass the ball, either they through the aerial way, the ball wasn't gathered properly, or the ball went over the player and went outside. Aerial ball pass is understandable when if players are tired, but this was India's first match. While Belgium were playing the second match, there was absolutely no justification for aerial passing, because we knew it's a high risk chance. Aerial passing means that the match is about to end. Let's take It's a hail mary of all passes. There was no need in third quarter for aerial passes to be made. There was need for circle penetrations. That didn't happen. Whenever ball entered the circle of the Belgian circle, Indians lost the ball. They had to charge the Belgian defense. They had to break Belgian diamond. They did not. They had to physically charge. They can't pass the ball and assume someone will be there. They have to hold the ball and run. There were couple of Shirananda did couple of very good runs, right from right from the middle of the field. We could see Shirananda passing the ball, then running, then again passing the ball, but there was no play. He almost did a full, uh, maybe we can say India's midfield line to the forward line run, but they won, and he passed the ball just for the ball passing efficiency. But there were no opportunities created. There were balls missing the goal. There were no penalty corners created. There were there were five penalty corners opportunities for Belgium, which were like without even trying. Belgians weren't even trying, and they were still getting penalty corner opportunities. The third goal that Belgium scored was that a player came, scored, and went away. Here the Pathak was here. I'll show the scenario for you. So the ball, it was a clear case of someone not knowing what a man-to-man marking is. Right, a national level hockey team not knowing what is a man-to-man marking. So assume that there is Pathak here, right? Pathak, or you can take anyone, just for the uh, for the ease of calculation. Let's assume this. So here there is one Belgian forward. So it's and assume that there is Pathak does have some support. When the ball was passed from Belgian midfield to the Belgian forward over here, there were nobody. There was just one Indian defender right in front of Pathak, and then there was nobody else. And there was just one reverse flick straight into goal from within 30-yard circle. Of course, this was just pure luck, or just pure luck for Belgium, or just pure misfortune for India. But the point here is that this could happen in second half, in third quarter, or in the fourth quarter. It's very common. They did the same with Argentina yesterday. They were 3-3 till half time, and then they became 5-3, right? So it's because Belgians knew that they were able to score goals, take penalty corners, and exert relentless pressure, right? So that was the early penalty corner for Belgium. They increased press intensity. India's midfield spacing widened. There were defensive transition speed slowed, and Belgium took 2-1 lead. Right. So the second goal of Belgium was something that swung the momentum away. India was still in the play. India was still in the play. They were chasing the game. That begins the fourth quarter. There was structural risk taking as well in the fourth quarter. There were some good plays made by India. There were some very good tackles made by midfielders. and there were some brilliant opportunities created. Right, Herman showed his defensive skills many a time. Right, there were a couple of third umpire reviews that went straight away against India, and a couple of them that were just on the line. For example, when India appealed that the ball was outside the field, and then it was pulled in, and then there was a goal scored. The ball was literally on the line. The Hawkeye did not find that the ball had gone out uh, for uh, for the goal to be disallowed. Similarly, when there was penalty corner and India appealed against when Belgium against appealed against a high ball, and India said there was a penalty corner, it wasn't that high; it was knee-high ball. So that decision could have gone in any way, in any direction. Had that dangerous high ball not been given, then India would have got a great penalty corner. Anyway, India didn't have any large number of penalty corner. The conversions were very low, so that story itself is a long shot. But that those are some opportunities which could have gone India's way. Regardless of the result, our main key defining factors were two things: one, circle penetration; two, penalty corner opportunities. Now, how do you do circle penetration? You break through the Belgian defense. You need a runner. You need a runner, and you need two. You need a pair. You need a pair that deceives the Belgian midfield, which means that you need a dummy. And to have a dummy who can run, bring the Belgian midfield up, and then we have another passerby, which gets into the Belgian diamond. Right, everything happening on the ground with very good stick work happening there. Right, you will not have large spaces to do stick work. You will have very narrow stick work spaces. In those cases, you need horizontal stick work, not the vertical stick work. On the horizontal stick work, you have to bend down and move the ball ahead. If you see how many Indian players today bent down to control the ball, very few. Those are the reason they were missing. How many times they held the stick with both the hands to control. You literally can watch this in the video replay and understand that this is not backs against the wall defending. This is very sloppy play. Something that coach has to look into. Like, is this what India has come to? India doesn't have its own, doesn't have player good enough to be their own coach. So we get someone from outside. Of course the person from outside is a respected person. So I have no complaint against them. But these technical failures are coming because of the player selection, because of lack of training, lack of match practice, lack of high quality technical skill and technical gaming. This could be the case that India's grassroots hockey is not technical, is more creative. Because it's not technical, so in warm up matches, India doesn't feel so much technicality coming in to the game. So players are not experienced. The moment they're exposed in the real world, then they can see how they are failing in technical formations. So that is something that lost us the third quarter. In the fourth quarters, India's structural risk taking was down. Belgium exploited the space behind the midfield. Third goal sealed the match. And that was end. 1-3, and that's end of the entire discussion. So, what do we do here, right? So let's see again. I know I don't have any words to say, but what we need to do the analysis for the analysis sake. So we will do analysis. Um, so that tomorrow we are in a better situation. In a 4-3-3. So it was a balanced formation. So they started 4-3-3, not 3-4-3. They were not attacking. First mistake. Okay, 4-3-3 is fine. Then let's go ahead in the squad, and then let's take, for example, I think Zugraz or Sukhjit. Sukhjit was out for 2 minutes. Let's make it a squad of 10, right? you can run any simulation with a squad of 10, right? These numbers don't matter. You do not win a match with a squad of 10, right? And our first tell of this was the defensive load per player was very high. The players did not know how to change the formation to play with 10. If it is 4-3-3, and if one player goes away, then how does the formation change, right? So I didn't see any change in player. The win probability reduced by around 8 to 10%, and you can see this here. So if you go ahead and do the simulation, you see win probability around 37%. It assumes that India is playing really well, and if you again bring back Sujit and then you run the simulation, you will see this win probability change immediately, right? So that doesn't make a difference because anyway it assumes that there are 10 players, that there are 11 players in the game. Uh, we just do not, we just can't even imagine a scenario where uh, such a defensive player and defensive or a balanced game strategy goes all the way defensive in a game against Belgium. And historically, Q3 is decisive due to the halftime tactical reset. We had so much transition vulnerability. India conceded space, the defensive line, they were holding the midfield, and Belgium exploited that corridor like anything. If you go back and do this tactical sim, you will find that India is uh, conceding a lot of space and holding the midfield. They were clinical. Belgium were clinical. India created space. India created phases, but they just were not able to execute. There were very few goal scoring opportunities, and India didn't even seem likely to do a 2-2 equalizer unless it was very last moment pure luck. When India were 1-2, I was able to see aerial passes from way behind the center line to the 30-yard circle. That's unheard of. That's unheard of. And it means that players are not willing to run. And you cannot there's a second match with Belgium on Saturday. You cannot win against Belgium by not penetrating their diamond. They play really hard. So you need physical strength, physical stamina, which was missing. So key factors from today's match, pure data. They maintained composure. India chased momentum, didn't have. India chased long passes, didn't have. India had poor stick work. And when trailing, India's formation immediately fell away. India had multiple green cards. Belgium had zero green cards. Just to show how poor the game transitions were, right? And there was one opportunity when Tom Moon actually could have got even one more penalty corner, but it looked like the ball went from his stick and not from an Indian stick. There was not no clearance being done. Otherwise, this would have been another penalty corner, which was Tom Moon appealed, but then he said, okay, anyway, he moved on because they were anyway cruising. Uh, Structural imbalance and sloppy play, there is no chance. The elite matches, they are decided in 5 minutes, and Belgium won in short bursts. In longer, there were some very good passes which being done by India, but in shorter bursts, Belgium were able to push through. So now we start planning for tomorrow, because tomorrow is, as we know, India plays Argentina. So this changes, new day, new game. Argentina typically are structured defensively. They have strong attacking discipline. They are physically aggressive in midfield, and they are very efficient in penalty corners. They are less chaotic than Belgium. They are very compact, more tactical. What India needs to immediately fix, I don't think they can fix things overnight. They have just would have gone to their hotels to sleep or just to rest. I hope that they are with Arthur and with the video analyst to look into what the areas that they can do better. But the first thing is defensive compactness. They have to reduce midfield defense gap. And to be absolutely blunt, India needs to be physically fit, but India can run. At present, India just cannot run. India needs to do a lot of yards and stay fit. That there is no alternative to that fitness, right? Uh, they have to manage the emotional phase. There should be no overextension. If India is trailing, there should be no overextension. They need to have discipline. This was absolutely unnecessary to have green cards. Numerical disadvantage at such a level is lethal. Had Belgium also received two green cards, I would have said even Stevens. Both had two green cards. Second green card was absolutely unheard of. We just couldn't understand how can Sukhjit be out of the match for 2 minutes, and this was still when there was 11 minutes left, and he came back at around 11 to 9 at 9 minute mark. He came back in Q4. Unheard of. So discipline. First is defensive compactness. Second is to manage the emotional phases. Third is discipline. Fourth is first goal importance. Against Argentina, scoring first increases the win probability massively because they protect their leads very well. If Argentina takes a lead tomorrow, like India were able to come back today, right? India won't be able to come back tomorrow if Argentina takes a lead. So, match prediction angle from my side is that if India maintains full strength and avoids cards, the match will be structurally tighter than the Belgium. You can expect a low scoring match tomorrow. You can expect very slower tempo. Today's match was really fast. Low scoring, slow tempo. It will be tactical battle, man to man combat, 1:1 mapping, and penalty corners will decide the match. So man to man map, keep pushing, get into the scoring penalty corner or get into the 30-yard circle. Try to get one penalty corner and improve penalty corner conversion. Around 50 to 60% of penalty corner needs to be converted. That means India needs at least 5 to 6 penalty corners to get at least 2 to 3 shots on target. And then we have to assume that the conversion efficiency goes higher, at least we score one. So as we close, it's around exactly at 10 o'clock in the night. I close this post-match analysis. India has lost 1-3 to Belgium because they were outclassed. We were no match for Belgium. So what we are going to do today is that we are going to accept that we were not as good. We are going to promise to ourselves that we will be better. We are going to promise to ourselves that we will work hard and come back again and be better. We lost because they lost. India lost because Indian players lost key momentum windows. We did very good in patches, but we were not able to maintain that momentum to convert to a goal scoring opportunity. Against Argentina, the battle will not be explosive. It will be structural, discipline, and tactical. So tomorrow is not about skill anymore. Whatever has happened has happened. For tomorrow, it's all about control. So as I close, I'll see you tomorrow again in the pre-match analysis, and what I expect is a much better, much refined India, and we'll do a pre-match analysis and the India-Argentina team analysis and simulation. Till then, take care. Have a good night.